We're here with Concordia's newly hired head cross-country and track and field coach, Jim Brewer, who has just arrived in Southern California earlier this week. Jim, it was a bit of a tough trip to get yourself and your family down to Southern California. Tell us about that experience.
Holy cow, man. I've never had so many crazy things happen to me on this trip. I mean, we traveled about 80 miles, stayed the night, and next day got up, excited about coming to Southern California, got down about 20 miles down the road. Sheriff pulls me over and says, "Hey, you're smoking in the back with your trailer," and somebody was calling in on it. What's, just want to. So we looked at the trailer to see what was going on, and it looked fine. He's like, "Well, just be careful." I was like, "Okay." Go down another 20 miles. All of a sudden, boom! The tire in the trailer blows. All right, and then. So I pull over, get out, looking at it, like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And then all of a sudden my wife gets out of the car, it's on fire, so the tire's like totally just inflamed, and flames are coming out from underneath. I'm like, this is nuts. We get that out, and I end up having to call. I called the guy. The closest town was just over 30 miles away. We're out in the middle of nowhere in Montana, in the mountains, no cell phone reception. So I had to drive down a couple miles just to even be able to make a phone call. And finally get someone out there. They throw another tire and a wheel on there because the last one was just done. I mean, it was totally gone. And so anyhow, we go, and I'm going like 100 feet, and all of a sudden, boom! Another tire goes. It's the same one, brand new tire. And the guy from Montana, I mean, he had some words. Just what the, and that was just unbelievable. And so eventually, long story short, he takes it off, and there was like no brakes. I mean, the brakes just totally disintegrated on this wheel. They were just gone. And so, got that off, drove into town. Basically, they said, you'll be okay. We don't have the brakes for it, but, just go on. You'll be fine. I'm thinking, are you serious? So we did, and yeah, we were fine, and had a good day of travel the following day. And then we stayed in St. George, Utah. Get up, excited about getting here, get on the road, we're driving along. We go through Arizona, get into Nevada, and we just went through the little corner of Arizona, so there's not a whole lot. We've probably gone maybe, again, 100 miles. All of a sudden, my dad calls me up. I'm talking to my wife, and eventually I get back to him, and I'm thinking he's right behind me. He's like, "Hey, Jim, I got a flat, I think," and so he's like five miles or so behind me at this store in Walmart or whatever, and so I turn around. My wife has our son, and he's sleeping. So it's like when the child's asleep, you travel, So she's just going on to Vegas, and so we go in. She heads on in. I turn around and meet up with him. I'm looking at the tire, and we're, the tire store at Walmart, and it looks fine, you're fine, your pressure's good. I tried driving the car just in the parking lot, and like, no, this isn't right. It felt weird, and we eventually saw that there was 2 studs that had broken right off. And the thing that's crazy, same tire. I mean, the trailer, it was a driver's side rear tire, and on the Subaru, it was a driver's side rear tire. And so then we go ahead, and they tell us the one tire shop that's open in Mesquite, Montana, or not, Mesquite, Nevada, all right? So a small town, only tire place in town that can do anything. And so we drive it in, the guy looks at it, yeah, he takes a look at one of the lug nuts was even finger tight. It was that loose, so it just came right off. And so they took it up, looked at it, thought they were going to maybe have to replace 3 studs out of 5. They had to replace 4 studs out of 5. We just had put brand new tires and stuff on the Subaru before we left. The day that we left, we had brand new tires, everything. And so it was just unbelievable. And then, we finally get into Irvine, and I'm like, oh, good, we're here. We're going to go out to dinner, with my family, have a nice time. And I'd been here a couple times before, and all of a sudden I couldn't find the campus. I was like, what in the world? I missed the exit to get here, and I'm driving around for an hour. I get stuck on this toll road. We don't have tolls in Montana. You don't have to pay to be on the highway, But I had enough money for myself, and I was going to pay for my wife, but I didn't have enough money. Well, then I get through, and then Rachel, I didn't know, she didn't have enough cash to pay for her, and so she's just all upset, and the guy is talking about tickets and all this stuff. They don't believe her, and I was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me, But yeah, but we're here now. We're glad to be here. We just unloaded. In fact, I had one of my athletes, Ricky Avila, just a super guy. helped me unpack today. So we're trying to just get settled in now. But yeah, it was unbelievable. Just everything that was going on. I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah. Now you spent 15 years so far in collegiate coaching, including the last 4 as a head coach of cross country and track at Great Falls. What are some of the deciding factors for you in choosing to come to Concordia?
Well, I'd say the biggest factor for me was the faith-based element here. I mean, Christ is really emphasized here at the university, and that was a big draw. I mean, my faith is very important to me in who I am and how I coach. I look at my coaching as my ministry. It's kind of my platform, and so that was the #1 factor. And then 2, the fact that the school, just really the mission of the school was just solid. When I asked the athletic director, I said, Dave, what's your 5-year plan for this program? He's like, well, I expect this program to be a top 10 program in the country every year in 5 years. And so that kind of went along with what I would like to see happen as well, too. And that there's a track facility here at the previous school. We didn't have a track facility, and so it made it a little bit tough. And it'll be nice not to have to deal with 8 months of winter. I went for 1 run this year, and this isn't unnormal or uncommon, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of cold outside, and I checked and it was -26 when I got back from my run, and that didn't include the wind chill. So with the wind chill, it's maybe -35. So 55, 45 low here, above 0. That's a good thing,
A little bit. The programs that you're taking over have a great tradition coming in. The 2000 women's cross country team was the first national title team in school history, and then the 05 and 06 teams won the combined title. How are you planning on furthering that tradition, and what distinctives are you bringing in as a head coach?
That's a great question. Yeah, I know that was a big plus too with the school. Martine had done a fabulous job with that women's team winning nationals in 2000. I believe their 2003 and 2005 performance as well. The men and the women's team is great, and yeah, there's definitely a strong tradition here. There's no question about that. So I'm hoping that be able to build on that, and build, continue to build on that, and bring in some neat athletes, some good quality athletes. Not only on the track but outside the track and off the course. That'll do well academically, and really try and create a well-balanced program, where I believe, I used to be on staff with Athletes in Action, which is a sports ministry, and we have what's called a total athlete, and it's a total athlete is someone that develops physically, intellectually, and spiritually. And when you're missing one of those components, you're not going to be able to truly meet your full potential. And so I'd say that's probably one of the strongest things that I can bring. I believe that even though I've been coaching for over 15 years, I still have a lot to learn. My background, my specialty is in endurance, but even with that, I feel like as a coach you should always be learning. The day that you stop learning and kind of start getting complacent is the day that you probably need to step out of coaching. It's the athletes first, and just grow yourself as a coach to try and become the best coach you can be.
Okay, you mentioned your wife Rachel,
Yeah.
and her driving down, but you guys have coached together previously, and even in Great Falls. Tell me about that experience of coaching with your wife.
It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. We're kind of a team package deal. We really complement each other in our strengths and weaknesses, and we've dialed it in pretty well. Now having Holden, our son, he's 17 months old. That throws in a whole new component. But he's become like a team mascot wherever we are. He's just such a draw. If anything, I think people want to come to be a part of the Concordia program just to be able to be part of Holden's life, because he's fantastic. He's a neat guy. But Rachel's phenomenal. She's someone that would she doesn't brag about herself at all. She's very humble, but was extremely accomplished as an athlete. I don't know if we have a bio on her or anything like that, but she was a 12-time high school state track champion, and then she placed in top 3 in 4 other events. So in 16 events all through high school. In Washington, you could only do 4 events. phenomenal. And then she went on and got a full scholarship to Northern Arizona in Flagstaff, ran for Ron Mann, who is a phenomenal coach and did very well. I can't remember if it was Rachel's junior or senior year, but she had the 17th fastest time in the country in the 3,000, running, I believe, like a 9:29 3,000, and so yeah, pretty solid. But beyond her athleticism, I mean, she's extremely intelligent. I mean, we're almost polar opposites. I mean, she was a 4.0 student in high school and college and her master's program. Phenomenal athlete. You look at me, it's like night and day difference, but we're a great team, and she has a huge heart. We love having the athletes over to our house. This last Easter, we had 22 athletes over. We did a big Easter egg hunt and had a huge dinner afterwards, and we've done that for the last 10 years that we've been married, and it's just a lot of fun. It's great to be able to work with your best friends.
One last question for you, and it's an important one. You've been in town for a couple days, but have you had an In-N-Out burger? No, they don't have those in Montana.
I've seen them, but yeah, I haven't had one yet. So I'll have to definitely, if they're willing to cook up some elk meat for me, then I got some elk in my freezer. I'll ask them, and I'll have an In-N-Out burger that way. I'd be happy with that.
All right. Coach Jim Brewer and his elk burger comments. Thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing what you do with this program.
All right, thanks a lot.